Hi, this is Joe Castro, Certified Technical Architect. This is my 2-minute drill series helping you prepare for the Salesforce Certified Technical Architect Review Board. Today we're going to have, the topic's going to be security again. So get prepared, and as before, you will see a scenario on screen. Give yourself 2 minutes to review it. Record yourself. Give yourself another 2 minutes to solution it. Then unpress pause and let's talk about what the solution would be. Good luck. Okay, you're back. Let's talk about it briefly. So Big Rack Computing sells computers through value-added resellers, VARs. These resellers actually, obviously, help in the sale, and then they add software, maybe put on some locking mechanisms, whatever it else is, scanners, before they deliver to the customer. So first and foremost, they're involved in the sale. So this is a clue to your the first question that put to you was, what license type do they need? They're involved in the sale. The only one of the partner communities, the only one of the communities that has access to lead an opportunity is the partner. So that should have been your choice here. Nothing else outstanding would have made you choose differently. The volumes, there's only a couple of thousand partners. So that choice is obvious. Now let's go on to the second one. How do you actually share with partner community users? A couple of different options. You might try to do this declaratively. How would that actually work? Sharing rules shared to partner community users are actually prefixed with the partner account name before the role name. So in this case, that would require thousands of sharing rules. And in fact, you only have hundreds of sharing rules. So sharing with partner community users using sharing rules is usually not feasible unless there's just, 50, 100 partners. Okay, so that's off the table. What are some other options you might pursue? Sometimes you might think, well, why don't we transfer the case to the partner, to a partner user? Okay. The scenario again states that the internal user, the actual support agent, is responsible for managing it, and they're just bringing the partner user for collaboration on the case if needed. So it doesn't really make sense. While we certainly can consider this, it seems awkward to transfer the case to a single user, and doesn't actually solve the problem, because the scenario also mentions that all of the users at the partner need access to the cases. So they might be monitoring cases, chiming in, being proactive, or at least they're running reports. So this doesn't solve for it. So if you were to do that, you still need to give access to all of the different users there. Talked about solutions, one-off solutions, where you might assign a user to a burner user at the bottom of the partner role hierarchy so that everybody above them in the hierarchy gets that. That's kind of a hack, kind of at best. Certainly would work, but you're burning a license that you may actually have to pay for. And again, certainly is when there's different solutions available, I would at least consider those first. So transferring is not an option. Sharing rules, likely not an option. What else can we do? It seems like here we want to be able to make sure all of the users have access. So we're kind of at a point where we're going to consider Apex. We're going to consider customization for this problem. And Apex Managed Sharing would allow us to give all the users access to a particular case. How are we going to do that? All right, so it's not enough just to say Apex Managed Sharing in your review board. First off, you have to come to the reasoning why, right? I can't do declarative because there's too many sharing rules, too many partners. Right? There's no other options, nothing from a case team can be used. So different things, go through that scenario. When you come to Apex Managed Sharing, it's not just, oh, I'm done. How is that going to be implemented, right? I might have, if I have thousands of partners and hundreds of users at each partner, am I going to go just every time a case is created, go look up and create, hundreds of shares for each individual case? Probably not a good way of doing it. What we really consider doing here is saying, okay, first off, I have the problem of I'm going to have to assume that there's a field on the asset that says who the original partner was, so I can get to an account. So now what we're going to do, and we've done this before, where you actually said, okay, I'm going to set up public groups that represent each of the partner accounts. So I make that association, and then I can use in Apex, I'm actually saying, okay, if I see an asset was sold to a VAR, go grab the public group associated with that VAR, and any users that are associated with that public group, I'm going to actually add the sharing rule, the Apex managed sharing, it is a sharing rule, sharing row, and that's going to be my user or group ID when I write that, when that share row calls. So by doing that, all of a sudden the sharing rule, I keep saying sharing rule, the Apex managed sharing is actually sharing to the public group, and then you can worry about who gets into that group and who gets added, removed. That's a separate concern. You can handle that, you can handle that when users are created. You could actually, give a facility so the partners can manage it itself, so that they don't necessarily have to have everybody in that group. They can designate, a certain number of people that are added to that public group. Okay, so when we look at this here, I do want to pause and say this is summer. We're in the summer 18 release. It's September 2018. There is a new feature called sharing sets, like you have for the customer basic community. That is now available for the customer community plus and the partner community. That's in beta form. So I'm not sure. That would obviously play in the future. If that feature goes to GA and is found to be scalable, that would give it'd be a lot easier to grant access. By saying, okay, well, I'm going to grant access to the case, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the asset that's associated with the case, and then I want to fill in the VAR field on the case and with the account, and I can create the sharing set based off of that account to give them access. But not GA right now, so we're talking about how we would do this in a normal situation here. So just to recap, recognize the need for a partner community. Understand that sharing declarative does tend to be difficult. If this was a scenario where they were taking over the case, certainly I would consider transferring ownership, and then trying to figure out, okay, can I give it to somebody and says, okay, you have access to the case. Your managers would as well, but your peers in the role hierarchy, is that acceptable that they don't have access to see it? Right, and so that if that would work, that's also usually my first preference for partner communities, is assign it to a user that's fairly low in the hierarchy of 3, and go up. When that's not feasible, Apex managed sharing is where you need to go next. Be sure that you can justify it, and if pushed, be sure you understand how you're going to actually implement this. How are you going to determine who the users to share are? That said, I hope you came to that same conclusion, or if you came to a different conclusion and you feel like sharing, love to hear your thoughts. As always, it's not just about the solution, it's about your thinking, how you present it, and how you justify it. Good luck when you take your review board. I hope you did well on this one, and look forward to seeing you on the next one. Again, Joe Castro, have a great day.